excessively poor performance on the front, or I just really fucking hate him. And that's how it means you can kind of influence things a little bit more. You just have that political pull. That may not be direct pull, but it's still kind of that floating resource that allows you to manipulate the field. Which hopefully is something valuable. People are talking about fucking 4E in my server. D&D and 4E, that's why I was late. Because I can never escape the dragon game. But let's see, where were we? Yeah, so this is kind of how everything kind of lined up there. Defensive, I don't need to do that anymore. I want to keep it defensive, I think that works. So, we go all the way down here. Generally speaking, for weapons, I kind of want to add a few different things regarding it. And so that means we go here. And the duels of the Pojedynek Kobiet are defined by the Kobieta participating, and the reasons why the two of them are clashing blades. Why the two of them are actually, and the reasons why the two of them require a duel. And the reason why the two of them require a duel to settle their differences. However, an often forgotten piece of information is the actual weapons themselves. While there are hundreds of different kinds of weapons employed throughout the world, the Pojedynek Kobiet primarily uses a select few approved by the Imperial Dueling Authority and Committee for Just Dueling Practices. Dueling weapons. The most common variety of weapon is the classic saber, often of a Straza make. The dueling saber is quick and deadly in the right hands, but many weapons in the regional variations find themselves being employed. Pojedynek Kobiet. Each weapon is broken down into its slashing. Actually, I thought each weapon is broken down into its stabbing, and we'll do stabbing, slashing, and blunt damage, reach, and how many hands reach, size, comma, and how many hands are required to use the weapon. The damage is added to the Kobiet, added if the woman is successful in striking their opponent, potentially leading to small hits being lethal, or a weaker weapon being potentially deadly in the right hands. Reach dictates how many steps the weapon is effective in, often a small range to dictate the use. Finally, the number of hands required. Let's see, size reflects the raw size of the weapon. Actually, let's not do that. We can factor it in with the range. No. Finally, number of hands required indicates if a woman can use their weapon if their arm is crippled, they're attempting to perform a grab. Grab. Got some coffee today, actually. So, weapon size. We're not going to add weapon size, but we have to go through here. What we can do is we can actually open up a spreadsheet. Yay! We love spreadsheets, everybody. Spreadsheets are fun. But what we get to do now is we get to put you off to the side here, and we get to do blunt damage. Blunt damage is going to be effectively the amount of damage you're going to do by just hitting you, not really hitting with the blade at all, hitting effectively with just bashing them over the head with it. It's going to be universal, whether you're stabbing someone or you're slashing somebody. It's kind of the idea of, like, if I have a stick and I poke you with it, it's going to do about the same amount as damage if I just fucking clock you over the goddamn head with it. Kind of that idea. Stabbing is very much using the fine tip of the blade and having it enter somebody. So, let's see. Blunt damage, dagger. Dagger's going to do no damage. The great sword's going to do 2 damage. That's pretty much hitting someone almost with not even kind of the pommel, but kind of like the blunt of the blade. The long sword is going to do 1. Rapier is going to do 0. Saber is going to do 0. The Albion longsword reaches 30. Weapon is a bit longer. The entire idea that it's pretty much a straight blade. It's going to do 2 damage. Cavalry saber is going to do 0 damage. The Beltic longsword, it's a little bit more focused. It's kind of a great sword at its core. We're going to say it's going to do 3 damage. It's actually very reliable in many cases. The Cossin saber is going to do 0. Espanza rapier is going to do 0. Actually, if I really want to, I can do negative damage with the rapiers. Just because it's just you hitting them with your fist, effectively. The Saxor Greatsword is going to do 3, because it's a massive goddamn weapon. The Uruk... we're going to do... There we go. Yeah, we'll do that. Where's the Latium Rapier? We'll reduce the rapier's damage by 1 slashing damage, because you're not really supposed to slash with a rapier necessarily. You're supposed to go for the stabs. But what I can do, actually, okay, so you can do that. That's fine. Didn't even know Pad Drop. I'd say hi. Can't stick around. Yeah, mobile Twitch kind of sucks. Game Deville goes good. Albion Longsword. Yeah. Let's see. Also, hello. I want to mispronounce your name. Let's say Ezax. Ezax. How much blunt damage does a punch do? I'm thinking of a punch doing -2. Pretty much the idea. It's the idea that if you punch someone and you're both kind of expecting the blow, it's not really gonna hurt that much. Like, yeah, it's gonna suck and you're gonna kind of get knocked back a little bit. It's like, ow, fuck you. But like, if you're kind of tensed up and ready to go, I don't think it'll do that much. But if you roll like 4 successes on the person, yeah, punching them in the face is gonna hurt like hell. You're gonna do 2 damage. But if you roll, let's say, 4 successes with a dagger, you're going to do 5 damage because you've stabbed somebody in the chest with your fucking, a dagger. There is blood coming out now. Greatsword rolling 4 successes is pretty much a death sentence. He's like, that's kind of the big thing, is that it adds on the damage of like just raw. I think I'm going to make the catch with it is being that blunt damage can't be resisted with armor. Let's see. So -1 slashing damage. I'm gonna make slashing damage 0 on the dagger, 1 with the stab. With the idea, actually, no, we can actually do 2. We'll do -1 with the dagger, because that's kind of the idea of like you bashing someone over the head with kind of like a metal pommel. And that's you walking up to someone and being like, haha, bap. So that should work pretty well. Got to remember to make a note about it. Add an S stock as well. Let me see. Armor piercer. Type of sword carried around by armored cavalry in mid to late 16th century. Let's see. if I really wanted to be specific about it, I could probably sub out his spans in one for an S-stock. Bump up the damage a little bit, so you have the pretty much the Franco Spaniards have their, like, they're not really good at slashing. It's not really about being blunt, but if you stab someone, like, they're going to die. I think that would work pretty well as an armor block slashes, but not blunt damage. So, you know, kind of beating someone with heavy armor to death is a very valid strategy. So what I should go away a little. Do fly. Actually, do is we're going to put you down. I want these to be the specific ones, kind of the. What we're going to call this? We're going to call these the kind of the generic weapons, and then we're going to call these the regional variants. These are like your fairly traditional ones. These are the very specific by the area. But that reminds me, we should add in just straight up your fist, which is going to be one step. You can really only hit that. It's going to do negative, I'm going to say -2 damage. 0, it's going to have NA slashing damage, NA stabbing damage. It requires technically one hand to punch somebody. That isn't, I don't think that's completely remiss to say. And then we're going to say a club is going to have a reach of 1 to 2. Blunt damage is going to be 2. And it's going to have no slashing, no stabbing damage. Fire 1. Actually, if I want this to be a little bit more specific, I should call this a truncheon. And what would you call a training sword? Kind of like a wooden training sword. Those training swords called a Vasta. Vasta. So we want to do a Vasta. Reach is going to be, we're going to make this a long sword. Blunt damage is going to be 3. No slashing. No slashing damage, no stabbing damage. It's going to require 2 hands to use it's going to do 1 hand to use effectively. And let me see, what's that? What's a good, I guess we can call it a because the idea that, like, the Vasta would be a practice weapon. So if you would want to do that, it would be a long Vasta, short Vasta, great Vasta. So more along the lines of, so the great sword would be here. The short sword would be like a dagger almost. Like, it's kind of a shorter weapon. You're going to be doing 0 damage. Actually, we can put you to 2. And then make you 3. Yeah. Actually, 1, 2, no, 2, 3, 0. Then NA. You're going to require 1 hand. You're going to require 2 hands. Vasta blade. Yeah, Vasta. Yeah, it's one of those weird. It's one of those weird terms where it's like, I'm pretty sure, because like the Vasta would be like the general. That's like saying sword. Like, okay, not really like a specific kind of sword, just a sword. So that should work. But what I should do is Now, if I see, this is the beautiful thing: is World War I melee weapons. Trench. What's a trench tool? Trench raiding tools. Okay. So obviously, see, the truncheon is kind of the small one. What we can do here is we'll do this the mace. So what would be German mace, World War I? Effectively a German trench mace. I wonder if it did have a specific name. Trench raiding club. No, okay. The hell? Wait, Woody Harrelson was in a 2009 superhero movie called Defendor, which looks like it did really fucking poorly. No. The more you learn, everybody. See, I always like looking at those kind of weirder little notes. So actually, what we need to do... So literally, this would just be called a mace. And if we do a mace, it's going to be a little bit shorter. We're actually going to say this is just going to be 2. This is going to be the only weapon at 2 range. Blunt damage is going to be 4. No slashing, no stabbing. Only requires 1 hand, though. That's the beautiful thing, isn't it? Also, in this kit is his sword being wasted, not your opponent. Let's see. Parrying dagger fit. Parrying dagger could technically work. See, I see. The thing is, too, is like this game doesn't actually have rules for two-handed weapons. Actually, not two-handed weapons, for kind of using weapons in both hands. Those aren't really rules. So, I mean, I guess this would be the time to do it. Then I should add size on, shouldn't I? So, if we were to add size in, we would put it... We put it right... We call this hands... Hans! Get the Flammenwerfer. We put hands right here. Then we immediately put size right here. Size being kind of relative. So something like a dagger would be size 1, greatsword size 3, 2, size 0, because that's nothing there. Truncheon would be size 1. Long Vasta would be 2, 3, 1. Actually, 2. So size 3 is fairly big. Size 2 is kind of like a decent size weapon. Size 1 is pretty small. Like a short Vasta would be quite literally, not really a dagger per se, but it's like a short sword more than anything. You can't really like hide it or anything. It's very, actually, we can probably make that size 1. Let's see. So if we do this, what we do is put you over here. We put hands right here. We put the size right here. That means I'm gonna have to put the size in. 2, 2, 3, 2, and S dock. Guess he wouldn't be too much larger. 2. We do 2, 2. See, if I really want to be specific, we can do size 4 on the greatsword. Because, like, the way I picture, like, the Saxor greatsword is a Zweihander. This thing is probably bigger than you are. And, like, picture like a nice little, like, not 18th century noblewoman, 19th century noblewoman walking up with a fucking greatsword willing to beat your shit. Being like, I'm fucked. Give me one moment. Cool. Let's see. Added the parrying blade. We'll give it to the Latins. We'll give it to the Latiums, otherwise known as the Italians. Too big to be called a sword. Too thick, too heavy. More like a solid slab of metal. Finally, it's my Berserk 2016 reference. Oh god, that's my back going crickety crack. Let's see. I hate to break it to you all, but this was all in fact a Berserk reference. Let's see. So we want to do. No, let's give the Hispanzans. No, actually, the Leonese don't have anything. Actually, we'll call it the Leonese. There we go. We'll call it the Leonese Rondel Dagger. It's gonna have a reach of 1, require 1 hand. It's gonna have size of 1. It's going to do no blunt damage. It literally is like you aren't gonna really. Actually, it's going to do -3 blunt damage. However, it's going to do that with only a little bit. It's gonna have split slashing, stabbing damage. So the idea of the parry blade is that you're supposed to kind of get behind them and then stab them in the chest. That's like that's your counter attack effectively. You're stabbing someone real fast. The Rondel Dagger you can actually slash somebody with as well as go in for the stab. It's kind of a back and forth in that regard. Actually, let's do 1102. We'll split those around a little bit. So, okay, here's our generic weapons. Here's this, where we have to go up here. Damage that to the striking their opponent. Rage took 10 timing steps away. Size shows how. Shows actually the relative size of the weapon. Shows the relative size of the weapon. Indicating how awkward it is to hold, as well as being able to be used in particular situations. Let's see. Finally, hands required. Finally, the hands required indicates if a Kobiet can continue to use their weapon if their arm is crippled. See, the big thing here is I don't need this anymore because I'm going to be adding in new ones. Let's see, is there any... I'm getting pinged by people. Hello, people. Let's see. Vishna's. Let's see. Casca Simulator. Finally. Honestly, if you want to, you can probably pull that off. I mean, that's kind of reminds me of Song of Swords. Like the actual Song of Swords, this is the main character. This is kind of like the, you could say like the center character, like the one you're actually supposed to look at quite a bit, who's kind of the central individual, which always was like, something about this seems awfully familiar. I couldn't put my finger on it. Then I'm like, is this like budget Casca? Like, is it budget Casca? Like, maybe. I'm thinking it may be. Casca. Like, I'm getting the vibes. Is it one for one? I don't think so. However, ow. Let's see. So we need to get a mace in there for a regional variant. So if we do this for the regional variant, we can actually add in. Let's look at Cursed Europe again. What nations in Cursed Europe don't have a weapon? Do I have a Ruskian weapon? Do I have Ruskian weapons? I don't have any Ruskian weapons. I know what Ruski is. The Ruskian handshake. It's going to be reach 2, size 2. Blunt damage is going to be 3. Slashing damage is going to be 1. No stabbing damage. It is quite literally a mace that you're going... Actually, we'll do the Ruskian Skull Caver. What we can do is, do we have any other ones? We have Saxostein, Dialand, Novgorod, Svengard, Kada, and the Room Sultanate, Krew. Actually, Cretan handshake, reach 1, hands 1, size 0 because it's a fist. Blunt damage is going to be 2, 0. It's going to be NA. It's the Cretan handshake, otherwise known as you're going to have pretty much your brass knuckles on. So if it's your fist, and we'll say it's going to be hands 0 because you're not putting it in your hands really. The Cretan handshake is literally you have it in you pretty much have a brass knuckle that you're using to grab this and that you're going to beat someone to death with. Clevets. The fuck? That's literally a casket. Yeah, I don't know either. Let's see, Clevets. Ooh, that's a weapon. What would you even call this? Like, yeah, there's the stab. I'm not seeing slash though. So what we can do, what we'll call this is, call it a Ruskian. Actually, the Ruskian pick we'll do, it's going to have reach. Doesn't seem like it has a really far reach, and I'm okay with that. We'll give it a reach of, you will give it a reach of 1 to 3. It'll be a fairly long, it'll be kind of like a Cost and Saber in that regard. Actually, no, 1 to 2. Hands 1, size 2. Blunt damage 2, no slashing damage, but 2 stabbing damage. So it's kind of the idea that you can slam down or you can spin it around and hit someone over the head with it pretty reliably, but you're not really going to slash anybody with it. But stabbing is like a very like particular thing you got to pull off. Yeah, I'm seeing it like. So you want to like, okay, so you want to, I guess that's what you would call it, because yeah, stabbing is literally like you're going to be hitting someone and then putting it back out. Kind of more of a broad interpretation of it, not really like a strict like the blade is like flowing alongside. It's not a sword per se. That's kind of the counterpoint. It's not really a sword. It's about hitting someone and sticking it in them. So, okay, so we've got a pretty good assortment. I think the Uruk are a little bit overrepresented. Technically, the Strazans are. Let's see, Leonese. Do you have any other ones? Technically, I can bring something in from Dalbania, but I don't feel like letting the Albanians have anything nice. Go, Dalbania. So we do the generic weapons. Put that right here. We want to Lato. We do check the table properties here. We want to do column 8-4. Let's see, can we do 0.8? 0.8 looks pretty nice. What are you at? Can we do 0.5? 0.55? Reach, we'll do 0.8. Generic weapons, we will make 1.5. Okay, so table properties. Select everything. Table properties. Table properties. Okay, there we go. Color, we want to make everything black on black. Select everything here, and do we want to... Let's make this a light gray just to differentiate them. Can we bold this? Yeah, we can bold that a little bit. Actually, if we want to do a little bit more specific, what we can do is we can do Vasta long, Vasta short, Vasta great, just to kind of keep all those weapons together. Oh, gotta do this walk that down there, sort ascending. That should work. Are you all... Wait, you're all bolded. You don't need to be bolded. Fallen, but at what cost? Can we bump you up, though? Put you up to 11. Fallen, but at what cost? Let's see. We want to do... We do that. We do Lato. Same thing. We do that. Do that right there. Looks a little bit odd, but don't worry. I think I know what I'm doing. Beltic. We'll do regional weapons. Again, I'm not really going for like wacky and weird necessarily. It's kind of more like these are weapons used by human beings that are kind of been re-put together, repurposed in a way for this particular thing, for this duel, for these duels. So here's the full assortment. Maybe if we do this, there we go. Sort that out so the REDUX are down there. Everyone kind of knows what they are. Yeah, have a nice night. Get some sleep, rest up. That's what I say. Ooh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Yeah, let's see. So, what we can do for damage. Yeah, let's see. Each weapon is broken down / reach, size, reach, how many hands are required to use the weapon. Actually, we will do this. So each weapon is broken down into its damage. Actually, we'll do its reach, hands, size, and damage. Hand size and damage, and then we explain what each of these do. We shorten it down, make it easier to read. If I can do what there we go. Come on, work with me. Broken down into reach. So we take this. We don't need any of that. I just want to keep it right here just so I can reference it. So so how many steps will the weapon is effective in, often with a small range to dictate the use. The weapon cannot be used if the target is too close, or too far away, from the Kobiet. It's kind of the idea, like, if someone is using like a really big weapon, like a greatsword or something, sometimes it's the best option for you to close the distance. Get in close. You can't use your weapon, they can't use theirs, and then hit them. Just bop them over the head or something. Kind of do something in your power to, hit, give yourself an advantage in some kind of method. What I'm going to do, I think I have just enough room. I do not have enough room. Okay, so let's see. We do hands. Okay, hands are how many hands. Actually, the weapon's hands rating. the number of hands a weapon has indicates how many hands are needed to successfully use the weapon. Gripping it tightly. If a Kobiet who has their arm injured cannot use a two-handed weapon effectively. Cannot use a two-handed weapon effectively. And if they are using two weapons in both hands, one will inevitably fall. Let's see. Next, the size. See, the size of the weapon is a broad generalization of how big the weapon is rated. What we can actually do, maybe we change it to like small, none, large, medium. We'll do medium, small, large, medium, small. So it's kind of like this is literally only used in like one particular situation. Actually, two. It's going to be, which is to say, like you can use a medium in one hand or small or two smalls in both hands. You can't use like a large weapon and a small weapon, or a medium and like two mediums. It's kind of like you have to choose. None is the idea that you don't need any. It's not really a size factor because you're using your fist. Because that's what you do. Let's see, medium. That's why you got things like the constant handshake, where it's like these things aren't actually very large, and you can use that pretty easily. It doesn't really take up any space. Medium, small, medium, small, medium, medium, ultra. There we go. Yeah, there we go. The only ultra-sized weapon is the Zweihander that does 5 slashing damage. Even if you fucking miss, you're gonna do that. Even if you miss, you're gonna probably hit something. The other weapon, broad generalization, how the big weapon is. If a Kobiet is using a medium, is actually using two weapons at once, they may only use a medium weapon. They can only use a medium weapon or medium weapon and a small or less weapon in the other. Medium and a small or less weapon in the other. Let's see, larger weapons are more awkward and subject to actually, and subject to more rigorous acquisition and simply hiding it. Because you're not really going to be walking into everyone's going to know if you're walking in with a giant fuck off sax or greatsword. Everyone's going to know. It is a mega weapon. Actually, finally, the damage of the weapon is broken down into blunt, slashing, and stabbing. Blunt damage is indicated by blunt damage is used for pummel strikes and blunted attacks. Actually, blunt damage reflects the non-lethal damage a Kobiet can sustain, and if she were to take that damage, she is not in any great medical danger. However, she will still feel pain. She'll still feel pain and probably kneel over in loss. Kind of like the idea, like, you're not really getting hit by a blunt weapon doesn't mean you're actually injured. You're not bleeding necessarily, but you're on your ass. Getting hit with a blunt weapon hard enough is more along the lines of, like, you've stopped dueling because you're on the ground barely able to breathe because they broke a rib. Like, you're not going to bleed to death. Like, you're not, like, taking a blade to your skull and you're now on the ground dead. No. You are just not good. You are not good. Probably kneel over and loss. Slashing and stabbing damage. Heal direct wounds. Heal direct wounds, but a weapon cannot heal direct wounds. Actually, direct, lethal wounds. If damage is marked with NA, then damage is added to the number of successes scored in the clash for damage. So roll it. Actually, for damage, if there is a NA, then no matter the number of successes, it will do no damage. Kind of like the idea if you're like, I'm gonna slash at him with my mace. It's like, no, you're not. Your mace is literally going to do no slashing damage. That's just not really a thing. Ooh, that looks good. It's really good. Now I'm getting hungry. God, Varric's posting cursed content. Hello, Ironside. I'm just staring at food being posted in my server because I am kind of hungry right now. And I need to eat dinner here soon because I want to chew on something. And I'm debating on whether or not I want to save the macaroni and cheese in my fridge for later, or I actually want to eat it. So let's see. We want to do... Okay, so deeper explanations. These are fine. We put it right there and indicates how many hands are needed. Well, rigorous acquisitions. Weapon is... Okay, so here's everything here. All your training swords, all your training weapons, all the various regional weapons. Armor. Most duels take place both the challengers without proper defenses, outside their wits and skills with the blade. However, some duels imperial auditors may recommend the use of armor, primarily the traditional breastplate or light cuirass. Each armor piece of armor is designed to a particular place on the Kobieta, on the woman's body. If that location were to be struck, then they reduce the amount of damage it would take by the value of the armor. However, each piece of armor is associated weight penalty. The women start with... No. Bad little fly. Fuck off. Let's see. The armor value is reduced by... Actually, armor value is completely negated. Actually, the armor value... Actually, if I really want... do I go autistic with this? This is a very important question. Do I go autistic with this? I'm going to go autistic with it. So, we're going to do that. Okay, so armor we're going to do... We only need 3 armor values because that's really the only thing we can work with. We want to delete the column there. And this is going to be blunt armor value, stabbing, slashing armor value, stabbing armor value. So blunt's going to be 0. We'll say 2, 4. Actually, we'll say 1, 2, 3. The heavier your blunt damage, you're not really going to be able to sustain that much with it. You're still going to kind of feel the vibrations with a little bit with it. Actually, we'll do something like this. Slashing, on the other hand, I think this is going to do well. Stabbing armor, I'm going to double it each time. It's going to be slightly different for stabbing. The stabbing is a little bit more. Oh, black pork loin. That sounds really good. See, the problem is I'm moving out pretty soon here, so I don't want to buy a bunch of stuff for my buy a bunch of food and then have to move all the food. Yeah, I noticed Luca left the server a while ago. I didn't want to comment on it because no one. Oh gosh, something in my throat. He wasn't banned, and because he wasn't banned, I didn't want to comment on it. I didn't know if there was an issue, or there was I didn't know if it was there's a good reason for it, or he just left because he felt like leaving. Yeah, okay. So he's just autistic. Yeah, no, I love him. He's great. Did he tell you the reason why, or did he just... Did he just leave because he felt like leaving? Thought it was a little bit weird. I'm like, I wonder if something went wrong. But I'm like, nah, probably just got into an argument with somebody. And I try not to pry into all of yours lives. It's not my place. It's also not my problem. Do as thy will. That's always been my philosophy on the matter. Actually, let's reduce this to 0.246 slashing. There we go. So slashing is a little bit more consistent to get rid of, but you also have weapons that do a lot more slashing damage than anything. Read Saxord Greatsword. But with Saxord Greatsword, you also kind of want to go in for those stabs, and you want to go in for everything else. And armor isn't common. That's kind of like one of the big things. Armor isn't supposed to be like super duper common. It's like, and even if you have like a lot of armor, you're kind of already at a disadvantage. Mostly when it comes to like super heavy armor, where you have like 0 everything. Yeah, like now you wearing a full set of heavy armor is like, yeah, you're not really going to be moving too fast. That's not really the point of this game. That's why I want to dissuade people from doing it. Simple as. Yeah, again, if he has any complaints, tell me, and I'll see what about them, but because I'm autistic is a very valid thing to think about. Actually, so we want to go up to combat real fast. Let's see. So, a breakdown of around stance and style. Actually, what I could do, I could make it another style. Wouldn't be long style, it would be mixed style. So the mixed style would be blade in both hands to turn away blows and reprise in kind. Mixed style has the benefit of being able to accommodate multiple situations and react accordingly to the situation. However, it does require two weapons to be used. It does require two weapons to be used. Mixed style allows the user to spend as much adrenaline as they mixed style allows the user to spend half their adrenaline on both weapons. Let's see, allows the user to spend half their adrenaline using how do I want to do? Because pretty much it's like you can spend half your adrenaline on one weapon, half your adrenaline on the other. Actually, mixed style requires Kobiet. The Kobiet split her adrenaline, went down the middle between both of her weapons. Both of her weapons being able to use as much as she'd like, and can use passive block. So it's kind of along the idea of like you're kind of being split between two weapons. That's the issue. You know, it's very specific. You can, yeah, you do have that parrying dagger. You can kind of block. You can kind of do things. But it's like I have to spend some of my things making a clash. Like if I only have 10 adrenaline, I have to spend 5 of that if I want to make a clash. I can only spend 5 of it on making a standard attack with my sword. Then I have to spend 5 of that on trying to do like a rondel dagger attack, rather than just making a strict like all at once. So that the restriction is you have 2 weapons and you have to kind of juggle that. You know, without kind of the advantage of short style and the advantage of long style. It's also very easy to get rid of mixed style by saying one blade only. The advantage of mixed style is the adaptability, if they allow that adaptability. That's the counterpoint. Are they going to allow that? And if they know you're very good at mixed style, they're going to be able to punish you pretty hard with it. So let's do this. Let's inform a Kossanite tradition of tattooing victories on their arms, replaced by some ladies with colorful bands around their arms or braids. The Kobieta will gradually improve their ability over the course of the Pojedynek Kobiet, over the course of the Pojedynek Kobiet. Advancement is tracked by a number of duels the women have been a part of. Well, the victories, defeats, or draws. So if you avoid a duel, defeat in a duel, kill an opponent, partake in a training duel, no victories. Participated in a duel, severely injured in a duel, injure opponent in a duel. So you kill opponent in a duel. Let's see, we want to gain political leverage. Gain political leverage at 3 leverage. Actually, it would be 1 experience per 2 leverage. Current attribute, increase formalities. Current formality times 2 experience. 1 experience per +1 -1 relationship. Maybe some other ones that we could have. Nothing. So let's see, is there anything here? I could probably add in something like a picture here or something. Two wounds. Yeah, that reminds me, I need to do a quick once over of combat again. Step distance. Yeah, step distance is pretty simple. It's like literally you just have to spend 180 to move up and back. Hello, determining adrenaline abilities, clashes, how combat works, tricks, defense. Actually, let's do a quick thing on attributes. So we need to do conversational. So striking, apply slashing, actually we can do downward strike, left strike, pummel strike, right strike, sweep slash, upward strike. So apply slashing, actually it should be blunt or slashing. Right strike, left strike, pummel strike. It would be pummel of the remnant. Successful, reduce 80 by half for the next round. Deal blunt damage minus. Must be within 1 step. Okay. Downward strike. Applies blunt or slashing. Okay. Beat attack. Instead of aiming for the opponent, aims directly at do any damage to the opponent directly, but the attack is considered to have +2 successes. Step strike, reducing strikes adrenaline by 1. Adrenaline for pairing a counterattack if an opponent with 0 extra successes. Yeah, okay. If the Kobiet is successful in beating number of successes of an opponent's strike, the clash ends. Feels like there should be. I don't know how to do that. Let's see. Grappling. Okay, actually no. Gut is important. Requires size 1. Requires a size 0 or 1 weapon. Actually, it requires a size 1 weapon. Requires 3 or more successes in the grappling check. This delivers a mortal wound. Holds 2 steps back, front of them, antagonize, heal, adrenaline plus a relationship, blabber, pose, surrender, taunt. Okay. Yes, thank you, Mashiro. As always, Mashiro, what would I do without you? Okay. Didn't really want to change too much. So let's think what's actually here left. This actually went a little bit more smoothly than I was thinking it was going to be perfectly honest here. I guess I could add no, that kind of takes away from the core. You know what? I'm not going to add it. I don't think I'm going to add guns or anything like that. I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to add staves either. I think adding all of these does add quite a bit, and I clarified a lot of points here regarding things like size, adding things like blunt damage. Kind of gives characters a little bit more to do and a little bit more, I don't word this, a little bit more options. But I don't want to completely take away the core meat of the game. Not a very long stream, but god damn it. Doesn't really need to be that long. Okay, you know what? I think I want to call it here. Nice and short video. Why? Because we've made good progress, and I kind of want to play Dune, and I also started late. I bought Dune Spice Wars, by the way. A little bit of a thing. I bought this Dune Spice Wars. Having fun with it. I enjoy it. It's very much it's an interesting game. Am I 100% on it yet? Not quite. I'm let's see. Yeah, it's not an RTS. Here's the thing. It's not an RTS game. And I think people going into it thinking that it's an RTS game are not going to have fun. I think that's kind of the issue with it. But yeah, we will finish up the Pojedynek Kobiet Sukience on Friday, in which we will add pretty much just experience. Doesn't really need that much updating. Literally, Friday is just going to be me adding a bunch of things and doing what sounds vaguely correct. And you may be wondering, Notepad, why are you delaying so much? You could probably finish this all up today. And the answer is, yeah, I probably could finish up everything today. But I want to play Dune, and I also, this is the big note. I also need content for Friday, so I don't have anything to do really on Friday. If I don't, I can start on the next project because there is no next project right now. We're still in the voting phases. This one went a little bit more smoothly than I was thinking is. So yeah, that's why all the videos have been really short. And I'm literally going to have to put in a note almost on all of these when these get uploaded, being these were really short because it kind of just worked out that way. I like it when things kind of just work out flawlessly. That's the beautiful thing. It's things just worked well. release the write-ins. See, here's the thing. Here's the beautiful thing. Let's look at this. Let's just do this. Let's go to forums. April May notocracy. These are what they like. I want to give me a boyfriend. Fuck me harder, Notepad Coon. D&D 6th edition now featuring Lumen TM and Dante from Devil May Cry. Update Monster Girl Adventures. PP Poo Poo. Those were the write-ins. These were the write-ins. You don't get any option anymore. Which, amusingly enough, 3 people literally just left a response, but didn't vote. That's the amusing part. Like, 3 people quite literally didn't even vote. They just typed this in. Which one of the worst parts is, one of these fucking things is literally on here. So, like, part of me doesn't want, like, part of me, here's the thing, part of me wants me to not even add this, like, factor this one in, because it's not even, because they didn't do it. But, yeah, I will think on that. Yeah, for some reason, the Konami Will Never Find Me actually does have a slight advantage over Bodie McBoatface and the Spanish Problem, Shining Highway Eurobeat Remix 2-hour loop, and the Kumastani immigration forms. For somehow, the Konami Will Never Find Me managed to surge ahead. However, I'll give you all a little secret here, kids. The plutocrats have voted, and the plutocrats definitely know what they want. And that's why we respect the plutocrats, and we don't respect you all. Remember, everybody, God bless the plutocrats. They will deliver us from evil. Let's do a quick check. Is there anything interesting on TG I can yell at? Do some content creation here on good old TG, Traditional Games, 4chan. Nothing of value is here. Why are we here just to suffer? Every day we stray further from God's holy light. But let's go to VTR. Yeah, the most unholy of places. Let's go to VT. Let's see what's on VT, everybody. Popular 4chan site VTubers. I mean, I am a VTuber, so I mean, this can't be. Wow, it's. Oh no. Oh no, it's cringe. Oh no, I'm going to jail. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, no, nothing's here. What's on WVT, everybody? Let's see. Wow, they use the same OP edition. They shouldn't have done that, but they did. Yeah, no, nothing of value is here. Nothing of value. This is the new hotness, by the way. This is a bear. She's a chocolate bear, otherwise known as, like, oh my god, look, she is officially my new Oshi. Don't worry, everybody. Finally, my new Oshi. Alright, I'm gonna disappear now. Godspeed, good luck. You know where to find me. If you have any notes or comments, feel free to ask. Let me see. Is there anything else exciting? No. This Saturday we're going to be going over something in particular. Depending on how things go, I might do a Sunday stream. I might not. I don't know yet. So, thank you. Goodbye. And have a wonderful rest of your day.